Hey, I'm Al Corlin. Thanks so much for joining me. We are shooting some video up here in Vancouver, British Columbia at the Cambridge House International Investment Conference. You know, the nice thing about coming to these conferences is you get to do videos with old friends, so that allows the listeners to our radio show to put faces to the names. And to me, that's really important because, you know, this is, if it's nothing else, it's truly a people business. Helping me out today are Roger Wiegand, Trader Tracks. You guys all know Roger. He does a daily contribution to the radio, does both an editorial and a market trends section. And then Roger's a regular guest on our weekend radio show. Good guy. And I'm sure a lot of you are subscribers to his newsletter, Trader Tracks. Somebody else who's helping us out this particular trip is Kevin Hudak. Kevin is a stockbroker in the United States. He specializes in resource companies, works in New Mexico. He'll tell you more about himself later. Introduced to Roger probably through our colleague Jay Taylor, I would guess. Jay's known Kevin for a long time. I've gotten to know Kevin over the past few years. He's a really good person, very, for lack of better terms, well thought out stockbroker. We are going to grill, for lack of better terms, Bahman Yamini. Bahman is a mining executive, has a company called Canasil Resources. I know what this guy's going to say because I'm an investor in the company. Remember that. I am an investor. I wrote a check, so this is not arm's length information at all coming from me. Not the case with Kevin and Roger, however. So they're going to find out what in their mind is the real skinny, for lack of better terms, on Canasil Resources. Bahman, you ready? Can you handle this?
Yes, sure.
Roger, why don't you start out?
I think we ought to tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about an overview on the company. Where are the properties and what are you doing this year?
Canasil is an exploration company. We're a junior exploration company focusing on relatively earlier stage gold, silver projects. The projects are principally located in the Durango area of Mexico and in north central BC in Canada. Both of them are mineral-rich environments with great infrastructure and good political stability, so and highly prospective for gold, silver, and base metal exploration and discovery, which is our focus for the company.
Bahman, where are you right now this year? Tell us a little bit about the partnerships that you have on some of the properties in Mexico.
We have 10 projects in Mexico, as I mentioned, focused in the Durango area. We have an office in Durango with 6 full-time employees there to manage these projects. 3 of the projects are now under agreements with some major companies. There's our La Esperanza project, which is a large 200 square kilometer project, high-grade silver, lead zinc veins, and that's under option to MAG Silver, where MAG has to spend $5 million over 4 years to earn a 60% interest. We have a Carina project, which is a gold-silver project, which is south of the La Preciosa deposit of Orco Silver, which is being developed by Pan American Silver, and there Pan American has an option to earn a 55% interest in that project over 4 years by spending $3.65 million. And on a third project in northern Durango, which is also a silver-gold project called the Sandra Escobar project, Canasil is doing the initial $1 million exploration on the project, and Pan American Silver has a back-in right to acquire a 51% interest in the project by paying us 3 times expenditures once the initial $1 million is completed.
You know, Raj, one thing that I wanted to bring up here before I turn the mic over to Kevin, and Kevin, you're next, man, is that the amount of interest that Canasil Resources has from some pretty high-powered people in our industry and some pretty high-powered companies in our industry is really, aside from my friendship with Bahman, what really drew me to the company, and you know, gave Kathy and I, for lack of better terms, the impetus to write a check to buy some stock. One of them is, when you talk about MAG Silver, you know, the dean of the geological world in Mexico is a guy named Dr. Peter McGaw, who I've known for quite some time now. I did a bit of due diligence with Peter's help on Canasil. It was all very positive. When you have a company like Pan American Silver, Ross Beatty is no fool. Ross Beatty is a very, very bright man, been very successful in the industry. For him to put up any type of capital for, into another project where he has the ability to pick up 51% of a project, let me tell you, that's a very well thought out thing that he would do. Having said that, Mr. Hudak, what do you have in the way of questions?
Thank you, Al. Bauman, on the subject of cash, can you discuss cash flow for the company, burn rates for the company, and how well into the future you're financed to where you don't have to look at major refinancing or major dilutement of the stock?
Yeah, we have right now a working capital of about 1.3 million. This is after having paid for the exploration commitments we had this year directly by Canasil, which was our ZTEM airborne surveys on 3 projects, and the drilling that we are currently doing on our Sandra Escobar project. In general, we're relatively frugal. We have a low burn rate. It's in the range of $60,000 per month, which covers our personnel and overheads in Canasil. Any additional expenditure is discretionary in that if we do have additional funding, then we can commit that to exploration, but we don't have to. So we try to maintain a strong working capital so that the company is well funded. The advantage we have now is that we have 2 major partners who are going to be spending on our projects. Mag Silver's budget that they've announced is $1.1 million for La Esperanza this year, and Pan American Silver has a requirement, minimum requirement of $200,000 this year, but a general requirement to spend $365,000 by November of this year on Carina in order to maintain their option and go into a second year. So depending on additional funding, we can actually turn on and expand our exploration programs. If that additional funding, the environment is not right, or if it's over-dilutive to the company, then we can slow that down and let our partners do the work on the 2 big projects that they're taking forward.
So you're basically covered for 2 to 3 years without any recapitalization.
That's right. Of course, we do have a plan that we would like to raise about $5 million this year because we would like to put the company in a much more active program on the exploration side so that we can drive things forward much more quickly and accelerate the program. But we will only do that if the market conditions are right and we can do it in a way that is not excessively dilutive to our shareholders. For example, right now we did a placement of $1.2 million at $1.2 million at 30 cents in December of 2010. We did around $500,000 at 40 cents in May of this year, and our target for an additional $1.5 to $2 million is in the 40 to 50 cent range, which would not be dilutive, and for the balance $3 million would be in the 60 cent range. So we'll see how the market conditions develop. If we hit those targets, then we can go ahead with that financing and put the company in a much stronger working capital position and in a more active mode.
Bauman, what is your commitment this year, 2011, I should say, between June and December as far as activities on the properties? And a second question, what's going on in British Columbia?
We have actually no further commitments after we've finished our 1,500 meter drill program at Sandra Escobar. Of course, we would like to do more, but that will be contingent on additional financing so that we maintain our working capital position. We do have, as I mentioned, our 2 partners who will be spending significant amounts on 2 of our projects, taking them forward. In British Columbia, again, it'll be contingent on additional financing, but what we're doing is we're planning and preparing so that we can have an active program. We have some excellent projects there. We have the Brenda Gold Copper Project, which is potentially a large gold copper porphyry system. We have the Lil high-grade silver project, which has extremely high-grade silver veins, but also could be hosting a larger replacement-type silver deposit. And on those projects, we have applied for the permits. We're in the process of finalizing the permits for drilling and exploration work on both projects. So as the financing conditions become right and we're able to complete additional funding, we can turn those projects on and have a much more active posture on those projects. There is also discussions and also the possibility both on the Brenda project and some of the Mexico projects of considerable interest of other companies signing additional option agreements, which is another route for advancing the projects.
There you have it, Canasil Resources, questioning by Kevin Hudak, Roger Wiegand. I have to say something else in the interest of full disclosure. Roger has been following Canasil in his newsletter for probably about 4 or 5 months right now. I know that's one of the companies that you have been following. So if you want to get more information on Canasil, you can either look in Trader Tracks, which is Roger's newsletter. You can look on our website and click on the Canasil banner. Again, Big Al put his money where his mouth was on this one, and I'm not unhappy about that. Thanks for watching.